Like, I remember one night getting where we were recording, like everywhere seemed to shut at like 11 o'clock. So we'd work very late in the studio and go out and try and get a pint before we went to bed, kind of thing. And this one time we went to the pub, came back, our hotel had just locked. I remember being huddled up with our then drummer Neil Turbin in the back of this transit van, cuddled together to like, because it was freezing. And then he had to go in the studio the next day and do a full day of drums.
Welcome to the XS Noize Podcast, the chart-topping music interview show. I'm your host, Mark Millar. In this episode, I'm joined by Aaron Starkie from the Slow Readers Club. If you missed our last episode, I spoke with Miles Kane about his new album, Sunlight in the Shadows, so be sure to check it out. Back in 2015, the Slow Readers Club released Cavalcade, the record that changed everything. It was dark, melodic and full of hope, and it took them from Manchester clubs to tours with James. Now, 10 years on, they're celebrating that breakthrough with A Decade of Cavalcade. In this chat, Aaron reflects on the making of Cavalcade, how it shaped their story, and what it means to return to those songs today. So let's get into it. This is Aaron Starkie from the Slow Readers Club on the XS Noize Podcast. Hi Aaron, welcome back to the XS Noize Podcast.
Oh, cheers for having me, Mark. Good to be back.
Good to have you back. So, Cavalcade turns 10 this year. How does that feel when you say that out loud?
Mad, really. I mean, it's obviously that, time marches on, but we knew it was coming, the kind of thing. But yeah, it's great. I mean, it's been mad looking back on the sort of the days when we were first writing that record and touring it, and we were in a very different position back then. Do you know what I mean? Just like selling out of the back of a van and doing gigs outside of Manchester to like 50 people or whatever. But it was great. I mean, it's an album that didn't shoot up like a rocket, but it has grown over the years to be really well loved. And so yeah, it's great it felt right to celebrate, because it felt like the record basically that sort of, in a little way at least, put us on the map in the UK, kind of thing.
When you look back at that time, what's the first thing that comes to mind? A room, a smell, a feeling, or a flash of who you were back then?
At the time we were in a little room called Ferguson House in the middle of town. I remember us writing it. I remember like taking a couple of days off work and writing got a good chunk of that record. Like there was like 3 or 4 tracks, like I Saw a Ghost and Days Like This Will Break Your Heart and Don't Mind, and I can't remember, maybe Hearing the Hollow, but like there's a few that happened in one hit, basically. Like in the morning we'd have like 3 or 4 tracks, though, the bones of it. And it was lucky, yeah, just a dead prolific and like exciting time, because we thought we had something good on our hands when we were writing it, kind of thing. So yeah, it was really exciting. And then going out and trying that material out live and seeing what people made of it, and watching it, win people over, 2, 3 people at a time, 10 people, 100 people, was really great. And then obviously later on we had, once we had people into it, like James really responded, got a hold of I Saw a Ghost, and we went out and toured with them. That was a real shot on the arm for us, and took us all around, we went out and toured with them all around the UK, and that gave us a platform then to build from, pretty much.
When you made the record, did it feel like the start of something new, or when it became sort of successful, did it take you completely by surprise?
The first record we did, so the Cavalcade was the second record. So the first record was kind of, we brought some tracks over from our previous band. Me and Jim were in a band called Omerta. So we had half that record was kind of Omerta songs, really, and then half of the songs were what I'd really call Slow Readers Club tunes, and then the singles off that record were genuinely Slow Readers Club tunes. And then that didn't really move the needle a huge amount. So we're like, well, okay, well, we'll go at it again. And then the singles that in the run up to Cavalcade, we just released the singles and weren't really thinking about the album as such. We were just like putting singles out in the world, trying to get some radio for them, touring them, So yeah, it felt like it wasn't like a big bang moment, like I say. But yeah, once the record was out, it started to do its own work, kind of thing, and word started spreading organically. And social media obviously was a big part of that. Like we were never a darling of the press or radio or whatever. But I think it was probably now anybody can sort of be an influencer or whatever in their own right and build a career on YouTube or TikTok or whatever. And we were probably kind of doing that in its infancy back then. Do you know what I mean? Like with Facebook live streams, and when we went out with James, we'd Facebook live streamed our sets, and people in the next town where we were going to be supporting James were getting onto it and stuff, like, you know. So word was spreading that we were decent, and people were getting in early to see us. So yeah, we kind of made our own reputation basically, and did it. A lot of it was DIY, really. That's how it felt anyway. But yeah, dead exciting, and we still work with that ethic, really. Like try and make your own noise and bring people to you through the quality of your work and what you're putting out in the world, kind of thing, and your performance and all that.
Do you still recognize the person who wrote those songs, or does it feel like meeting a younger version of yourself?
There's probably. I mean, looking at the lyrics and stuff like that, you could sort of go, and it was, you know, it's a snapshot of where you were at that time. Not that all of them are super hyper personal, but it's also like, you know, your worldview and the things you choose to sing about and everything. Like, yeah, it's a bit of a snapshot of you at that time. But that's cool. It was really. You know, I'm glad that we've grown as a band, and the sounds evolved over the years, and we sing about different things and stuff like that. But yeah, it's great to look back on. I think it's all still valid. I don't like cringe at any of it, which is good. So yeah.
Well, let's step inside some of the songs on Cavalcade. Start Again. It feels like a statement of intent, a reset moment for the band. Maybe can you remember what personal or creative shift inspired that sense of renewal?
It was when I was actually like we'd had the sort of synth riff and the melody was there fairly instantly, and then I was kind of like I think I was struggling with it lyrically, and I did like the opening lines, when in the end you never start, consternation crippling you, like it is a reference to that wanting to get over that self-doubt, if you know what I mean. But then yeah, and then it's quite a nostalgic tune as well. It's like longing to sort of go back and start again and take another stab at things, kind of thing. I'd felt myself and would resonate with other people that, like, a lot of people will sort of reevaluate themselves and look to try and right wrongs and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, it's a good little stomper as well, though. It's like, it was a good, you know, gets people's attention live, and it was a good album opener as well. Sounds sort of muscular, if you know what I mean.
It sounds muscular indeed, yeah, and it's a fantastic way to start the album. When you wrote I Saw a Ghost, were you thinking more about personal reflection or about the ghosts of modern life, the things that keep sort of following us around?
That was really about my relationship with alcohol, really, like, and also like there's a little bit of that in a later tune that we do, Lunatic, as well. But he was having this sort of sense that there was always something hanging over you there, like a depression, basically, like a mental health issues that was sort of limiting what you could achieve and all that kind of thing. It's quite obviously it's quite a melancholic, like downbeat tune, but still melodically uplifting, hopefully.
We must talk about Don't Mind. I mean, I've told you before, I think it was my door in the Slow Readers Club. It was the first thing I heard. You know, it feels like someone's shutting down to protect themselves. Do you find writing helps you process emotions like that, or do you just observe them from the outside?
Yeah, I mean, Don't Mind was kind of like, I put myself back in a situation of like that teenage heartbreak tune, basically. I wasn't living it at the moment, but I was throwing myself back into that situation. Having broken up with a girl and like going past a house on a bus route kind of thing, and feeling like a physical pain, basically, when you going past and all that. It's quite an intense emotion. It's like just an exploration of that, really. But it's also sort of it's still quite romantic, even though it's a heartbreak tune. It's like a wistful sort of acknowledgement that you've got to let go, kind of thing, and she's already moved on and all that kind of stuff. I quite like the storytelling of it as well. So yeah, I really like that tune as well. I'm glad you do. The video, I had a very clear idea in mind of what we wanted to do for that. I'd seen a film called Submarine, basically. It was again like a teenage relationship, and I remember at the time cutting shots from that up and sending it to Chris, who works on the videos with us, and go, it'd be great to do stuff like this. So yeah, we kind of went very close to the film actually. So yeah, we do sort of owe them a debt of gratitude, really. But yeah, it's I like the video as well as the track. It's one of my favourites that we've done. We don't often play that one live because it's quite chilled and like all on the same level. Like I think Jim gets a bit bored of playing two bass notes the entire time, but it's a good tune. I really like it.
Plant the Seed. It became one of those defining tracks for you. Did you have any idea when you first played it live that it would connect so powerfully?
It felt really hooky. Do you know what I mean? Like it was weird, that one, because we went in and it wasn't like the lead track. We went in with, we tended to record that album in like sets of 3 tunes, basically around day jobs and stuff like that. We'd go in the studio and go, right, we've got another 3. And we went in with our producer, Phil Bullen, at the time, in this little recording studio in Bury. I think we've probably gone in with, we might have gone in with I Saw a Ghost and Days Like This Would Break Your Heart and Plant the Seed. There was another 2 anyway, and Plant the Seed was the third. And we had the falsetto part, but not the hook, not the main hook. And we were playing the track back and I was in the control room, and I was just sort of ad-libbing over it and I went, "Gotta tell you, my love." And then I remember, and then I had the line straight away as well. Like I remember Jim and that looking around at me going, "Where's that come from?" kind of thing. It was a really cool moment. That really went down very well. Like and it picked up. I picked up radio in Ireland for us. TXFM picked it up and they played it a lot. Like and then we had like promoters and stuff contacting us out there going, "Oh, you've got to come and do a show," and we like sold out Workman's Club in Dublin in like 4 minutes or something. It was mad. And that was the first gig outside of Manchester where we'd gone, whoa, this is actually working. Something can happen. Something can happen here. When we'd done the show, like people were asking for us to sign stuff and all that kind of stuff, which we hadn't had up until that point. Obviously we've had that since. I'm pleased to say, but that people care enough. But yeah, it's it was a good moment. It's like one of those, you never know which tune off a record is going to do something, and people in the band will have their own favourites, and some people put Forever New Debt above that, or I Saw a Ghost above it. But yeah, it does something. I like it as musically as well. It's like different than the rest of the record. It feels quite poppy and but also like I think it's produced well. I think we did that song justice. Basically, it sounds as good as it could do, I think.
I suppose having success in Dublin, it's Dublin's second home for a lot of people in Manchester, I suppose, and like Liverpool as well, so it makes sense.
Top. It's top. I mean, it's a great city and continues to be a good city for us, and we go over and play shows there. It's expensive. Yeah. It's expensive to have a pint and a pizza and all that kind of thing, but it's good. It's good crack, as they say.
Cavalcade, the title track, it sort of ties the whole record together. As the title track, it feels like almost like a commentary on the world spinning too fast. What did that word cavalcade represent to you when you chose it?
It was basically like a message to my lad, basically, and go like, yeah, the world's coming at you fast, and just be prepared to go at it the best you can, kind of thing. I also like the sort of the imagery of a cavalcade, like you're joining in this throng of this eternal sort of crowd kind of thing, like you're just sort of joining in with everybody else, and I think that as a sort of an image for the title of the record felt appropriate for that reason. It's like you're inviting people along to the cavalcade as well as anything else. So yeah, it's a nice little, it's a good sort of straightforward guitar tune, that really. But yeah, it has a lot of light and shade in it and everything, and builds really well. Like it works really well live. Not played it in a while. I'll be looking forward to playing that one again.
You close the album on Fool for Your Philosophy, which feels like a quiet challenge to self-belief. Was that ending meant to leave things unresolved, or does it bring a kind of peace?
Yeah, I think it's just a big strong track, Fool for Your Philosophy, isn't it? Like there's some lines in there that are like stolen from Simon and Garfunkel. Like shades of mediocrity and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just a big tune to go out on, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. It's another core sort of, dark, interesting lyrically kind of tune. And it certainly goes down well live. We used to open shows with it frequently as well. Like, I think the first time we played Albert Hall in Manchester, we opened with it. It's a big, bit proper in your face job.
You've always balanced introspection with euphoria. Do you think that contrast keeps people connecting to your music?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously, like if we were sort of downbeat lyrically and downbeat musically, I don't know how many people would listen to us. It's sort of a bit of a conceit, I suppose, to sort of go. It sounded like a pop record, but not pop record necessarily, but like it sounded like a melodically and musically sounding uplifting and euphoric, but like lyrically, like once you sort of go, you start listening to lyrics, you go, oh, there's something more interesting than the typical going out and getting pissed type record. You know what I mean? It's like it's hopefully it's saying the lyrics are saying stuff that hasn't been said a million times and lets people think about stuff. But I don't see the point in having just singing about throwaway stuff. Basically, rightly or wrongly, that's how I go about it. I try and do stuff that has a bit more meat to it, basically.
Something that's always stood out about Cavalcade and all your work is that striking geometric artwork. It's so distinctive and precise. You've always handled the band's artwork yourself. What was the idea or feeling you wanted to capture with that design?
Cavalcade was more. I just wanted it to mirror the typography. So like the grid of the Slow Readers Club. It imply that there's variety in there, I suppose, and it was just a strike. It was actually a found image. The pattern itself was like a found image, but marrying it with a type, it just seemed to fit well. So yeah, I'd like that whole sort of geometric, very clean line stuff as I say as carried from that record into ones afterwards. And it is part of our identity, really.
Do you see the visuals as an extension of the music or as a separate outlet where you can express something the songs can't?
Yeah, I mean, funnily enough, I'm working for these shows at the end of the year. We're using video for the first time, something I've always wanted to be able to do, and like that sort of geometric art and the coming to life in a live environment is going to be really, really cool. And it's weird how it can add another layer to it, basically. Like when I've been going through and preparing that material for the different tracks, it can sort of go, you can help tell the story in a more full way, basically. Because obviously, like, we've got great people that have worked with us on lighting and stuff like that over the years, but we've never really done, and that can add a lot, and that helps build the mood and bring people down at points and bring it back up again and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, this is the first time I've really got my hand in on it and thought about how the songs are presented visually, as well as apart from us performing the work itself. So I'm dead excited about that. Hopefully it'll go well because we've never done it before. But yeah, I think hopefully people will be really impressed with that side. I think, fingers crossed.
If the Cavalcade artwork could somehow sound, what song on the album would you want it to sound like?
Forever in Your Debt, probably. I think that's a signature track for us. It's got a melancholy to it, but a lot of sense of hope to it as well. And it's like musically, it's interesting. It's quite sparse in places. Everything feels intentional in terms of each of the parts on it, and it doesn't sound like anybody else either. It's like you wouldn't go. It sounds like Joy Division or whatever. People might dismiss us on other things. I think it does sound it uniquely ours, hopefully. But yeah, so that one, but Forever You Don't probably the one I'd associate with it.
Do you think streaming culture has changed the way albums like Cavalcade build longevity?
Possibly. I think obviously, like, it's weird when you go to our Spotify profile, for example, and then Plant the Seed has been up there for a very long time, and that's a sort of it's self-perpetuating thing that, like, if it's streamed if it's the most streamed thing, it's the first people listen to and all that kind of stuff. And they will listen to singles in isolation, and it sort of maybe renders the best of less meaning. If someone's doing a best of, it's less meaningful than it was because you've got a constant best of by virtue of having streaming. You know what I mean? Unless you're sort of going to curate it in a special way and it being your own opinion of what the best of is, I suppose. But yeah, I think our fans, at least, like, are still by physical records, do listen to the album start to finish and stuff like that. I think that is a dying thing, and I include myself in that. Do you know what I mean? I don't. Certainly, if I'm coming to a band for the first time, I'd be more likely to listen to the This Is whoever collection of their music on the Spotify than I would an album necessarily, unless loads of people were making a lot of noise about a particular record. But as long as people get on board, I don't really mind whether it's through random tracks on Spotify or an album its entirety. I don't really mind.
Aaron, tell me about A Decade of Cavalcade. What inspired you to mark the 10-year milestone with this tour?
I think we knew it was coming up, and I think we'd seen other bands do anniversary tours and stuff like that, and thought, well, it was worthy of celebrating. And obviously, the first time round we did it, we were just, like I say, selling the record out of the back of a van. Didn't have much of an audience at that time, just starting things out. So I was like, now we've got a bit more of a platform. It felt like right to sort of give it, a bit of put it under a spotlight a little bit, and hopefully be a great celebration for people that have followed us all that time. But also anybody coming to us new would go, it's a great entry point for anybody that's sort of coming along within the last 6 months or whatever. So yeah, it just felt like something that we should celebrate now that we live in the past, because we've had, our most recent record has done pretty well, and really enjoyed playing those songs live, and we'll continue. There's lots of tracks off that record that we'll get in the set. There aren't many bands that can do that, you know what I mean, that or do that. They sort of still go and tour the sort of first, second, third record, and then maybe get one track in. But I think the quality of what we're doing is still good. So yeah, it's just it's good. It just felt right to celebrate it. Basically, I don't know if we'll do it for any of the other records, but Cavalcade in particular felt like one that started the whole thing off for us. So yeah, felt right to give it a bit of a celebration.
Yeah, Out of a Dream hit number 11 in the UK charts, which is absolutely amazing. I was really, really pleased to see that there. And obviously you brought new fans on from that as well. So, in my eyes, this seems sort of, in a weird way, all right, you're celebrating an older album, but it seems like the start of a new chapter for the Slow Readers Club. Yeah,
hopefully. I mean, next year as well, we're supporting The Cure at Winshaw Park, which is absolutely amazing. The big heroes of ours. So like that is a big marker for next year being a success for us, hopefully, and we'll try and do our best to, get the next record written and make the most of that opportunity. And so yeah, I think we're very hopeful about the future and still enjoy creating and enjoy performing live. So yeah, certainly not going to be just touring old material or calling it a day or anything like that. So yeah, good. Dead excited.
So how does it feel to be supporting The Cure?
Honestly, it's so good. I mean, we're playing at Wythenshawe Park, which me and my brother Curtis, who's also in the band that plays guitar, are from Wythenshawe originally. So it's like a super hyper hometown show. Like I think the last 3 years or so, they've started doing gigs in Wythenshawe Park, and we're like, and we'd always thought it might be quite a cool thing. But when that started happening, we're like, God, that'd be great to do a show there. And then The Cure were like huge heroes of ours, big influence certainly on my vocal style, and the sonic world that they operate in is we're similarly dark and mysterious and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, they're excited to watch their set. I mean, if we weren't on the bill, I'd have been buying tickets or trying to. So yeah, they're excited about it, and to know that apparently Robert Smith has a hand in support, choosing supporters as well. It's not like it's just happened through like people looking at a spreadsheet and seeing if we can sell tickets and stuff like that. It's like we've been put in front of him and he's liked it, which is really, really great. So yeah, that's chuffed.
Obviously, we've talked about Cavalcade, but you've made other albums. So we'll do a quick fire round here. I'll name a Slow Readers Club album, and just give me the first image or memory that comes into your mind, or if you want to elaborate, you can. So we'll start off with the first album, the Slow Readers Club from 2011.
Yeah, I remember recording that. We recorded that with a guy called Kipper Eldridge in Surrey in a barn. He'd previously worked with like Sting and Mary J. Blige and all sorts of big artists and stuff like that. And we were just figuring it out still at that point. I mean, we were just not kids by any means, but certainly like not experienced in the studio and stuff like that. And he was very patient with us and everything. But yeah, that was really cool experience. Like I remember one night getting where we were recording, like everywhere seemed to shut at like 11 o'clock. So we'd work very late in the studio and go out and try and get a pint before we went to bed, kind of thing. And this one time we went to the pub, came back, and our hotel had just locked. So we were just like, I remember being huddled up with our then drummer Neil Turbin in the back of this transit van, cuddled together to like because it was freezing. And then he had to go in the studio the next day and do a full day of drums. It was not an ideal circumstance to tell. But yeah, that's what I remember mainly about that record. But yeah, it's some good singles as well. I like, Block Out the Sun and Sirens and stuff like that. Stuff that it was really great. Like, we played them live a lot at the time and helped bring some people in when we first started out.
Build a Tower from 2018.
Build a Tower was really good. We'd sort of like that. We were obviously built a bit of a platform with Cavalcade, and that was probably when loads of people were coming having a look at us basically. And like we had Lunatic as the first single from that record, which we tried out live. I remember the first time we played that was in Dublin. I was writing the lyrics on the way over on the plane, and that was like an early favorite and a big sort of signature tune of that record. Yeah, weird one because it's like it doesn't have a big sort of hook lyrically in the chorus, but yeah, it does. I don't know. Just it seems to go with that, like it's very well loved track of for people that follow us. It's like it's one of the well loved tracks. And then yeah, You Opened Up My Heart off that record is really good as well, and a few others. Like it's just a strong record. So yeah, I remember playing it. You Opened Up My Heart at Albert Hall as well, and feeling that people hadn't really heard it before, and feeling people sort of go, receive it well, and feeling really chuffed about that. So yeah, lots of fun memories on that one.
And in 2020, you released 2 albums: The Joy of the Return and 91 Days in Isolation. Obviously, the COVID album, the pre-COVID album, and the COVID album.
yeah, that was a mad period really, because we'd gone full time in 2018. So like, Build a Tower had been out. We'd done the Apollo in Manchester, and announced there that we were going full time. So 2019, we did our biggest ever tour in the UK and Europe, and then I recorded Joy of the Return at Parstrig Studios in Liverpool. That was good record. I mean, like production wise and everything else, it was probably like musically, it was really, really, really good. Had some good singles off it. Like I really liked. We tried different things on that record. We had like tracks like Jericho that were a bit more poppy and rhythmically different, and All I Hear that we still play now from that record. I probably preferred songs-wise 91 Days in Isolation. I think probably the pressure was a little bit off for that record because we were in lockdown. I mean, Joy of the Return was a top 10 record. Great, successful and everything, but we couldn't tour it. Couldn't really get the feedback that you'd normally. So it occupies a weird space in my mind because we didn't tour it, so I don't know what the feedback was. So it's weird. But 91 Days in Isolation then, which followed, was like us going, well, we can't tour, so we might as well do another record really. And but the writing process of that was different because we weren't together in a room, and I thought that brought different things out of us. And I think like the sort of layers of guitar that Kurt would work on at home gave him more space to sort of really consider that himself properly on like Everything I Own that's doing really well on Spotify at the moment for some reason. I'm not really sure why, but it's a great song, but it's having a bit of a moment on Spotify at the moment. Not really sure why, but that was a beautiful, like the drama of that track and how it builds and everything. And I think because we weren't going, everything has to, we're not trying to write a big single or whatever for that record. It brought more out of us, and it was a more organic. And even though we were sort of recording our bits separately, it sounds more organic as a record than Joy of the Return does, weirdly. But yeah, and that we still have that as part of our process now, like writing wise. We'll still sort of home demo stuff as well as jamming in a room together and stuff like that, because I think it just brings different textures out of what we do basically.
And Knowledge, Freedom, Power from 2023.
Yeah, that was cool. I mean, obviously, World was coming back again. Trying to think what was on that record. Let's have a look. Yeah, we had Modernized, big stomping single. Afterlife's a huge track off that record. Track number 2. A lot of people say it should have been a single. It's like, I think it probably wasn't a single because it operated in similar territory to tracks like I Saw a Ghost or The Weight or whatever. And if you were sort of going, if anybody looking at us going, are they progressing? Then it doesn't sound like you're progressing. If you know what I mean. If I'm being completely honest, that's probably why we didn't choose it as a single for anybody that's wondering. But yeah, there's loads of like really nice tracks on that we haven't probably given them the run out live as much as we should, like Sacred Songs. But like again, that's it probably pushed further in a lighter direction than we'd done on any of the previous records. It's like quite like poppy in places. Like How Could You Know was really like light. It's still a bit of sort of introspection in there, but yeah, don't know. It's good. Yeah, some good tracks on there.
Aaron, for a band that you go down the DIY route, you're very prolific and you seem very driven as a band.
Yeah. I think we're always still chasing the dream kind of thing. I posted that the other day. Was talk because it was 10 years since we'd done the Plant the Seed video, and I remember that being one of those moments where the video wasn't going, or in my mind wasn't going well. It wasn't going how I pictured it. We had like the idea was like that we had this sort of powder paint explosions going on, but we were filming next to this waterfall, and as soon as the powder went in the air, it just went to mush because there was just too much moisture in the air. So I was like, I mean, it was a Sunday, doing it around day jobs. I was like going, and I was like 35 at that point. I'm going, what am I doing with my life? Just filming a music video for us. It felt like a vanity project at the time or whatever. But you know, I mean, it's an absurd thing doing a music video at the best of times. But anyway. So then I was like, I just stood there like there was like a girl that was working on the video, wiping this paint off me because we had to do sort of another shot. I was just like, this is just stupid. But I'm glad we still kept the faith because obviously the things that we talked about, the TXFM happened and touring with James and loads of amazing things have happened since and going around Europe and all that. So, but you have to sort of keep the faith but as well as sort of because we've never had that moment where we're sat on Jonathan Ross or whatever, or like we're a household name. You're always still chasing it and trying to just break through basically. So yeah, I don't know. That's why the hunger's still there, and it still keeps us sharp, I suppose. We haven't got to that point where you're sort of resting on your laurels with it.
And when you do keep at it, good things happen. Things do happen.
That's it. Well, look at the Cure thing coming along or whatever. Yeah, it's just you've got to be in the game. You got to be plugging away at it. The more you're doing it, the more opportunities you have. I mean, as an example, when we were doing Cavalcade and we'd done like, I mean, one might not have related to the other. They might have discovered us another way. But when we did I Saw a Ghost, we went to on a Matter of Sound podcast, I think it was called. It was Hattie Pearson who DJs for sort of a pop radio station now. But at the time, she had like a YouTube podcast, and we went on. Her thing was like she'd have bands like us, Lost Ruiners did it as well, where you go and perform in an unusual space. So we'd be in this Ladies Club. We thought, well, we'll go and pop up and do a gig, do a performance in Central Library, and nobody knew. It wasn't like we'd had, I think, permission from the library, but nobody in the sort of reading room knew what the fuck was going on. So we just tipped up and did. I Saw a Ghost, brand new track at the time as well. So nobody knew us or cared in the room. But that then went out on YouTube, and then when the first I was aware that James knew who we were was when they posted a link to that track on their socials. And it's like, well, if we hadn't gone and taken time out of our time out and gone done the YouTube thing, or they hadn't bothered doing the YouTube thing, then who knows if the James thing hadn't have happened. So it's like, yeah, a lot of doing things brings other stuff. You never know, because you can, if you were lazy about it or whatever, you go, well, I can't,
It's those sliding doors moments.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
If someone who had never heard the Slow Readers Club before, what 5 songs should they listen to?
Lunatic, I Saw a Ghost, Forever and Your Debt, You Open Up My Heart, Take No Fear.
Brilliant. That was actually quicker than Miles Kane the other day, because he just banged them out, and I said to him, nobody has ever come up with the songs that quick. You've just beat that.
Yeah, so I think because by the time I got to 5, I thought I better throw a more recent one in. But yeah, those are the ones I think probably there's a good cross section of what we do, and yeah, be a good starting point.
Well, if you could add one new song that represents where you are right now, what would that be?
I really liked Little White Lies off the most recent record. It feels really organic and sort of it goes in on unexpected directions. Yeah, that's a nice track. I don't know if that's not to suggest the next record will be like that, because I'm not sure it will be. But that's it's an interesting tune, is what I'd say. Like, it's like doing something that you wouldn't expect us to do necessarily.
Is there something about from the Cavalcade era that fans might not know? A near disaster, a weird studio moment, or a private victory?
Well, there was a track that didn't make the record. That some fans will know, because when we're in lockdown, we had a Patreon where we shared the track. But it's called Golden Summer, I think it was. There was like a really nice little track. I don't know if it'll ever see the light of day. We shared it on our Patreon. But yeah, that's not a well known thing. Can't think of anything else. We wear our heart on our sleeve mainly, so most people know most of the stuff. But yeah, not sure. Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of.
If you could send a message back to your 2015 version of yourself, what would you say?
Keep at it. Believe in what you're doing. One day it'll work out well. I'm sure that will still happen. I'm joking. but yeah, I think it's. I love what we do anyway, but I'm not really bothered whether we're filling stadiums or whatever. I'm happy that we'll look back one day and go, we put some good shit in the world, and it meant stuff to people, and so yeah. I think we believed that then though as well. I think we knew what we were doing was decent enough. So yeah, but I'd probably sort of reassure myself and say, keep at it, work harder.
Well, that leads me on to the next one. And finally, what's next after A Decade of Cavalcade? Where's your head creatively right now?
Yeah, we'd start this. I don't know, 3 or 4 track. We've got lots of ideas. 2 or 3 are sort of in full song form kind of things towards the next record. Kind of been toying around, chatting to the lads and having a bit of a. We don't normally do this. We don't have a direction for the record or whatever. But there's stuff I've been listening to recently where I'm like, oh, it'd be interesting. We maybe moved in this direction. So I might have a chat to them about and see what they think. But they might just go, stop telling us what to do. I don't know. but yeah, I've got ideas in my like where I'd like us to go. But yeah, I think we'll just keep creating and see what happens. Really, I don't think we'll run out of things that motivate us and stuff, and things to talk about and things like that just yet. So yeah, I'm excited to do the next record. Obviously, we've got Cavalcade, we've got The Cure, and then around that we'll be writing the next record, and like I say, making the most of that opportunity that'll be presented to us by The Cure. Like I think that that gig's 35,000 people. Don't know how many of them will be there to see us because we're on first, but even if it's 10,000 people, then that's a lot of people that won't have maybe heard of us before and stuff like that. So we'll try and make as best impression as we can, and then after that, have a record ready or singles ready or whatever to sort of make the most of that opportunity. Basically, that's the plan.
And one thing I should ask you actually, when you're writing your new songs, are you thinking visually as well about how it's going to look? The album covers, all the artwork and stuff.
Sometimes, yeah. It could. Some are more visual than others. Yeah, some of them, like the movement of it, like you have some images in your mind kind of thing. So yeah, it does happen sometimes. When like I say, when we've been doing these visuals for the live shows, there's stuff that I've had in the back of my mind for a long time that I've got that I thought, oh, it'd be cool to do this for that kind of thing, and some of it that just comes super easily. Like Tell No Lies was an easy one, like which was a standalone single, because I was like, oh, it'd be cool if it was like a redacted document kind of thing, the single cover for that, even though it didn't really relate to the lyrics fully, but yeah, it's cool. I like this sort of semi-deception of that. That's what that was about lyrically. So that lent itself quite well. But yeah, usually I've some idea. Like when we did Knowledge, Freedom, Power. Not Knowledge, Freedom, Power. Sorry, Joy the Return. I think I was. That was the artwork for that was like a folded, like a geometric shape, and it was I just found this artist's work on Instagram actually, and I'd approached her, and she sent me all these little paper sculptures, and each paper sculpture was a different. We used them for single covers and the album cover, which is pretty cool. And then when we animated that, so like we were using video. Had we done a launch gig at the night, we were going to do a little intimate gig at Night and Day for the launch of it. But COVID happened. We were going to be like projecting all that stuff at Night and Day, but yeah, didn't unfortunately happen. But there you go.
Well, Aaron, it's been brilliant talking to you again. Congratulations again on 10 years of Cavalcade. And here's to the next chapter of the Slow Readers Club.
Thanks, Mark. Cheers. Thanks so much for having me on, mate. I really appreciate it.